Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm actually in a good mood today. Maybe it's because we got the happy pants on, but I'm still feeling pretty good. There's two ways this video was going to go today. Either it was going to be Darth Micro, the baby, Salt Crier, or we're going to have Happy Mode DM. I woke up on the right side of the bed today, so let's go. Okay, real quick before we get into, the whole video, we got drop rates, we got the new legendary character, nuts. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a huge patch. I mean, this is probably the best patch in Raid, and I say best because there's just lots of new content, new things to do. I mean, at least we're getting our hands on stuff to do in the game. Granted, a lot of this is more scaled for in-game, but to be honest, there's been a lot of good additions for free-to-play players as of late. I mean, they're fixing the arena. The Forge was amazing for that. The reworking of the faction wars. Doom Tower normal, I guess, kind of got nerfed for free-to-play, if we're being honest. But there's been a decent amount of additions. I mean, enough that on these free-to-play seasons, I feel like I'm enjoying my time as free-to-play. And now that my main is not spending money anymore, I mean, I feel like I'm being free-to-play, fairly free-to-play too. But anyway, before we get into all that, I mean, we got a lot to talk about. But before we get into all of that, real quick, this is your absolute 100% last chance. After this video has been out for 24 hours, I'm announcing the winner of a multi-$1,000 absolute massive well account giveaway. If you want to see that, I'll put a card in the corner up here somewhere. It's gonna have it shows you the video. I mean, it's got Gentoro, like tons of the new legendary. It's a crazy account. Okay, all you got to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment that says Darth Microtransaction. That's it. You do that, you're in the giveaway. You're in the hat. Pull your name out. We'll see what happens, guys. Good luck to y'all. Now let's get into this video. It's gonna be a little bit of a longer one because we got a lot to talk about, and it's all good stuff.
Well, pod. Welcome, 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 well, pod. Don't forget to subscribe. This is Darth Microtransactions channel, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. Well, pod, welcome back.
This doubly makes me excited for my main because now, on top of doing the free-to-play series, which is popping off, by the way, we got 2 good episodes out already. I'd recommend checking that. I'll put it at the end of the video if you want to look at the free-to-play series. I'm putting in a playlist. You can also find it on the channel page, so you can watch them all easily. We have Season 1 fully completed and given away, so you can watch Season 2 now. And on my main account, I only have one. That's right, one stage left. Demon Spawn, the very last stage. Stage 21 is all I got a 3-star, and then I have Lydia. All these new characters are out. Man, this is... Dude, we have a huge update. So I got stuff to do on my main. Some of these missions, I guess, are supposed to be retroactive, but some of them haven't been completed retroactively. So if you get this, where obviously I've cleared stage 7. I mean, I've done all of Nightmare 3-star, so I don't know why it wouldn't show that I have it. But they did say in their Discord that there's some glitches going on currently. So don't be too salty if you see some problems at the moment. I'm sure it's going to get fixed. I mean, they announced it, that there was problems like the second they realized it, I guess. Okay, are you guys ready for an overload of goodness right now? We have a new legendary you can get for free. So we got a new legendary you can get for free. Granted, now here's the thing. Granted, the legendary's rough to get. Okay, you gotta beat faction wars. I haven't even seen some of the higher things. I mean, some of the lower tier, it's just in the first of the 180 new missions is, look at this, like mission number 50 or 60, for instance, right here is unlocked tier 6 masteries for 10 champions. So this isn't for new players. But then again, if you don't have Arbiter yet, you haven't like conquered dungeon 15 or whatever for the spider and all that garbage. So you're probably not in the mood to work on this. Anyway, you still have other stuff to do. But for the people that have been sitting on Arbiter for a while, which is actually probably more people than you think, this is a huge deal. And not just to get the legendary, which by the way is nuts, and we're going to talk about them in a minute, but look at the rewards. There's legendary book, ancient shard, void shard, hammers, you got glyphs now. We have the high tier rewards from faction wars, ancient shards, lots of energy. I mean, there's lots of shards and books in here. So I'm pretty cool with this so far. You're not going to hear me complaining about more free rewards. I mean, how could I? I mean, look at just the amount of Bronze 2 in Tag Team Arena. Bronze 2. I mean, come on. It's a Void Shard. But that's not where it ends, and that's obviously not why you do all these things. I mean, the rewards are great, but it's for this guy. Yeah, he looks kind of like, you know, the Arbiter mated with, I don't know, the Dragon Mother. Yeah, I don't know. Someone put in a joke that actually looks decent for this guy. But you look at this guy, besides the dorky looking mouth, he's actually a pretty crazy character. I mean, crazy as in like nuts on kind of another level. Look at this, okay? Basic attack already has a chance of increasing the cooldown of the target's skill at random, okay? Has a chance of placing a stun if the cooldown goes to max. If the cooldown increases successful, will also decrease the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn of the ally with the highest turn meter and on the skill cooldown. Okay, that's nuts too. If you didn't know, being able to decrease the cooldown of another skill is something that almost every other gacha has in value. For instance, one of the best characters in the Star Wars game I play is Thrawn, and what he does is essentially swap turns with somebody, also effectively reducing their cooldown, right? And by doing that, he's regarded as essentially the most plug-and-play character in the game. There's another character who has the turn swap mechanic that's called Conqueror and Uncommon, and I actually used her in the free-to-play for a while. I mean, longer than I thought I would have. She even was a 4-star at one point. And we used her to help level someone else into a 5-star strictly for that turn swap mechanic, and that's it. So the fact that you have a cooldown paired with the fact that you're potentially stunning somebody or increasing their cooldown, that's nuts for the basic. You pair that with somebody who could charge even, you could see where this could get, you know, kind of a loop hilarious type deal going on. Now look at this. Attacks one enemy 4 times, okay? Each one has a 100% chance when booked of placing all of these debuffs: decreased defense, weaken, decreased speed, block buffs, true fear, etc. All of that. If they have 4 debuffs or so after the attack, basically you land all of these debuffs, you get the fear. So here's the deal. He's a void, so he's not gonna get a weak hit. So effectively the 4 times mean each one of these has a chance to be resisted. So you're not always going to land that. There's a base 15% chance to just get resisted. That can just happen. So because of that, you're not always going to be landing all of these, okay? You have to be aware of that. So the odds of the true fear isn't exactly 100%. However, in PvP it will be if you have high enough accuracy, whereas in PvE, for instance, monsters like the spider, etc., just have that base chance to resist no matter what. Now, his A3 is unique because we haven't had a block passive skills debuff that I can remember, at least, and block active skills is what you would expect. You know, basically blocks anything that's not a passive. So the way this works is it attacks all enemies and people that don't own passive skills when fully booked, okay, are going to get block active skills. Meaning they're effectively, think of it like provoke, except they can attack anyone. They're stuck having to use their basic. Now the passive is, as you would expect, just their passives are out for a turn. That's really nice because in PvP, blocking a passive is a really big deal when you're dealing with people like Torment, etc. Granted, if we're being honest, Torment in the very top tier of competitive PvP is still used, but not as often as he used to be. You know, with the proliferation and stuff of block debuffs, etc., that you're not seeing quite as much of this. But there's still passives that are a big deal. I don't know how much Lydia is getting used, for instance, but in Gold she's definitely getting used. And the blocking revives is a pretty big deal. I mean, Blood Twin's another example of this as a passive. So stopping those type of passives could be a really big deal in PvP. I can definitely see some comps going on. Plus, if we move on to the last move here, this is obviously just a hilarious move, especially in PvP. Enemy places stun, sleep, freeze, fear, true fear, provoke, instantly fills his champion's turn meter, places increased speed buff on himself, shield buff on himself. Shield buff is 30% of his max HP, which is like hilarious. I mean, 30% of the max HP is effectively Rain Beast's passive. And Rain Beast's passive was oppressive enough to just be a problem in and of himself in the beginning of the game. They actually had to nerf it. So the fact that they kind of have that built into a passive without a cooldown, there's no cooldown. So it just happens literally every time. So if somebody, let me give you an example. Tormund goes off and provokes with a stun set. That provoke lands on this guy, okay? Does the provoke move, is A3. Tormund then, because of the provoke, gives him 30% turn meter. The stun step procs to its 30% turn meter. Because of each one of these, this guy is gaining turn meter, so Tormund then reprocs his passive. When he reprocs his passive freeze on, this guy now is 100% turn meter. So if Tormund basically does a move, this guy goes instantly. So, and not only that, but he has a 90% max HP shield now for 2 turns. Things like that. You put this guy in a ton of resistance where you can't remove that shield, he effectively becomes the equivalent of Nest from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is that Nest was a character that literally cannot be beat unless you have instant damage that like instantly delete. It's just kill this character as well as, you know, destroy this character type cards. You couldn't beat the character because if you made them slow on purpose, the shield was ridiculous. So because they have built-in turn meter, the shield isn't going to go too crazy. You're obviously gonna get max of like 90%, but if there's a way to have this guy's turn meter reduced, for instance, like they're reducing turn meter because that's how you can control no CC while provoking him. It's impossible to beat the guy because he's going to have the shield, and if you have enough resistance, you can't remove the shield. And then if you're decreasing his turn meter to try to keep him from going off, the shield's just going to keep stacking over and over again. And since he's not taking turns, the shield's just going to get bigger and bigger or whatever, right? So that can be hilarious. We're gonna have to, I mean, the long and short of it is maybe I'm not getting all the mechanics right. Maybe the shield will override itself instead of stacking. Maybe all this stuff. We don't know. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, this character is hilarious. Oh my lord, we got the dungeon 20 through 25 in here, man. I cannot wait to get a single brew for beating stage 25. That's right, drop rates have been exposed. We already know what they are. Instead of breaking them all down, because this is going to be a really, really long video, I'm going to make a separate video next, right after this one, talking about the drop rates, breaking them down, letting you know. The hilarious part is, this is probably going to be the one negative thing I'm going to say. The drop rates essentially suck. It's 5 and 6 star gear still. Like, hello? So that part didn't really make sense. And the other part is you can literally still get brews. So the chance of like the legendaries and everything dropping is higher. So that's cool. And the chance of 6 stars higher. But like, I mean, like, you know, come the on, what is it, stage 30 is going to be 6 star. So that part's kind of annoying. They probably did it for tournaments and dungeon diver events. You could farm a lot of points if you were only getting like 6 star legendary gear. That's probably the balancing that's going on. You can't really nerf the tournament points for everybody without it being like your gatekeeping event points. So I can understand the balance of trying to make sure free-to-play people don't get boned in all the events, while at the same time effectively trying to make the dungeon rewards better. I think you should have just removed all of the crappy rewards out of these type of things and just, you know, made it where it's only legendary drops 5 and 6 star or something. I don't know. The rewards are not what they could have been, but again, the dungeon 25s are all going to be on a separate video when we break that down, because I'm going to go through live and try to beat all these stages. So if you actually want to watch me live before I record the next video, you can catch me at twitch.tv/Darth Microtransaction. We're going to be going through dungeon 21 through 25 of every dungeon live and trying to figure it out. I don't have unkillable comps. Poison popping, like I thought, is not going to work. I don't know how I'm going to beat it. So you can actually try to figure out like a live brain process. I don't have a guy that figures this stuff out for me. I don't copy other people's builds. I like to actually play the game, go figure. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just try to figure it out. And if you enjoy the learning process, I highly recommend catching that stream. And we're going to talk more about it on that live stream too. Okay, also, I highly recommend doing this. If you're in clan versus clan, I made in my Discord something called Clan Wars Trading. It was kind of a dead channel for a bit, but people are starting to figure it out. Basically what it's for is it's for communicating with other clans, for people that are particularly interested in us working together in order for us to try to get optimal rewards. It is better if we do not bone each other. Like you can see here, we're right within kind of the same point bracket. It does seem like somebody's going to get the W at the end, but we're trying to make sure at least everyone gets, you know, 2 rings or something like that. Now, unfortunately, the W does matter. So at the very end, you kind of have a run for your money, or you guys got to figure out who's going to take home the W, flip a coin or something. But we were able to communicate with the other owners, if you want to call it, of the clan, and say, hey, instead of us trying to be, you know, hilariously competitive with each other and wasting books, Why don't we work together and keep our points right around the same so that as we climb, we can make sure we all don't go all in like we did last time, get 5 million points or something, and literally get 0 rewards for it. I highly recommend working together in this game for this. Clan versus clan is designed to drain more resources than you get back out of it, and the only way to beat that's by working together. If you guys don't put in like any points at all in the beginning, you can literally still get rewards. The only difference being is that, you know, with the new Dungeon 25s, how everyone's really playing the game now, so it's kind of hard to manage your points, especially with a big guild. But if everyone's at least somewhat mindful of that, you should be able to manage it. No, and there's about a million other things we could cover in this patch. I mean, we're only 15 minutes into this video or something like that, but each one is kind of independent topics that I need to go into a little bit more in detail. For instance, like the Dungeon 25 drop rates and show the data that was provided to me by Scratch AK47. Shout out to him. Thanks so much for that. I don't data mine or anything myself, but he was able to give me those details, so I do really appreciate that. Check out his channel. With that being said, you know, subscribe so that way you're in the giveaway. Leave the code Darth Microtransaction below. Check out the free-to-play series if you want, and hit the bell if you want to be notified of more videos that come out. Otherwise, YouTube's been doing a bad job of notifying people lately, so I just highly recommend that. We also got almost 1,000 subscribers yesterday. It's insane. So just thanks for that. Love y'all. See you on the live stream.